Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chitra Saxena. I'm the Vice President of IASNM. Alongside with me, I have Dr. Khushbu Gupta, who is a nuclear medicine physician and secretary for IASNM. She is recording our podcast today. ISNM mission is to facilitate the exchange of ideas, knowledge, and leadership expertise. Today, we proudly present our webinar titled Chai with Scintillating Stars. And it's featuring Mr. George Leconte. It's an honor and privilege to introduce our guest today, whose dedication to public health and unwavering commitment is commendable. Mr. Leconte served as a Chief Executive Officer for New York City Health and Hospital Harlem site, where his leadership shines as beacon of hope and progress. Mr. Leconte is one marked by humility, passion, and empathy. Under his guidance, Harlem Hospital Center has not only thrived, but has become a cornerstone of healthcare excellence in New York City. Through his tireless effort, Harlem Hospital Center was selected as the venue for Mayor Eric Adams' pivotal announcement for New York Student Loan Forgiveness Program for behavioral professionals. Furthermore, Mr. Leconte's leadership has garnered well-deserved acclaim, including the prestigious 2024 HLNY Award of Distinction. His recognition is a testament to his innovative spirit and continuous commitment to improving healthcare outcomes for all. Mr. Leconte, welcome to our webinar. It's an honor to have you on our podcast today. May you please share your enlightening and captivating journey with all and how you came to be a CEO of New York City and Health Hospitals.
Thank you. Thank you. First and foremost, I want to say thank you for inviting me. Truly appreciate it. And thank you for asking me because it truly is an honor to be here today. How did I become CEO of Harlem Hospital, the wonderful New York Health and Hospital of Harlem? I'm not sure myself sometimes. I had an interesting journey. I started my journey as a respiratory therapist. Most respiratory therapists don't necessarily jump into CEO somewhere down the line. But my journey started as a respiratory therapist, and it actually started at Harlem Hospital many years ago. When I first started as a respiratory therapist, my clinical background helped me quite a bit. I enjoyed being a respiratory therapist, and the reason why I went into it was because my mother, who is a nurse, is a bad asthmatic. She suffered multiple asthma attacks at multiple times. And I felt, this is something I really wanted to do to sort of learn more about asthma and sort of help her out and be able to help when she does have the attacks. And I did. I pursued that. I enjoyed that. I dealt a lot with our perinatal and pediatric patients in terms of not just asthma, but overall. Worked with some of our adult patients also. And as I grew in the field, I found myself very quickly became a supervisor in respiratory, and that worked well. I left I left Elmhurst and went to St. Luke's Roosevelt for a position as a supervisor because they were opening up a neonatal unit. And they had asked me and said, hey, listen, with your skills, would you mind working with us on it? Because they've never had neonatal at the Roosevelt site of it. So I said, yeah, it's great. I work with a number of therapists and physicians who were able to open up the unit. Worked out well. I loved it. I had one of my key mentors in there, number of leaders that came there. And the last leader that I worked with is a man by the name of Michael Patron. Michael took me under his wing and said, hey, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know. And we worked well together. I became the regional assistant director of respiratory for both St. Luke's and the Roosevelt site. So there was a lot of learning opportunities that came by there. And then another opportunity came up also. And that opportunity was just before Y2K, where the Elmhurst site needed a director of respiratory for Elmhurst and Queens Hospital. And at that time, I said, okay, that's nice that they need one. I'm happy where I am. I was very content being at St. Luke's Roosevelt as the assistant director, and felt, things will rise there. And I remember Michael Patron, which was my mentor at the time, he said to me, there's a position there as a director you're not going for because you're satisfied with what you have here as an assistant director. And I said, oh, yeah, we have a great team going together. This is great. We work together. You move up, I'll move up. And I remember he said to me, when is that going to happen? And I said, I don't know. You're the chief. You tell me. He goes, neither do I. So his next move was, no, you're going to go for that position. You're going to interview for it and you're going to get it. Plain and simple. And I was like, Michael, but we have such a great team together. He says, yes, and you can build your own too. That's how it started. I interviewed for the position and did get the position as the regional director of respiratory for both Elmhurst and Queens Hospital. Y2K was a little chaotic because there were a number of ventilators that weren't Y2K compliant at that time. So it was a matter of having everything in place, the right equipment. This was literally 3 months before Y2K. So this was literally in October of 1999. I remember that very well. I came in and it was like, okay, you've got to make all these changes just before, December 31st. I said, okay, it's a challenge, but we were able to do that. And we did well on that concept. And I was there from 1999. And then all of a sudden, after about being there for about 4 years, I received a phone call from the what they call the senior vice president for both Elmhurst and Queens Hospital. And he reached out to me. He says, I've been looking at some of the work you've been doing, really proud of you and things like that. There is an administrative position coming up. Would you be interested in it? I was like, oh, of course. Is that like a trick question? Definitely would love to be interested in it. So after, we had a chat about it, he talked about it, and he left it. I didn't think anything of it at that time. I was like, okay, it would be nice. A month went by and I didn't hear anything. So it was almost like, okay, I guess he came to his senses and he says, maybe not. We're not going to take him to the position. But about maybe 2 months later, I received a number of phone calls from friends saying, congratulations. I'm like, congratulations for what? They said, didn't you get the email? I said, I'm actually out of the office. I was actually getting lunch at that time. And they were like, no. Our VP sent out an email congratulating you that you got the position as the administrator for ancillary services. And I was like, oh, wow. I thought he forgot all about it. He was picking someone else. But I started that, and that was in 2004. And from that point on, it really took off. I started with 3 departments. I grew to 7 departments. And Y2K played a pivot, not Y2K, I'm sorry. COVID played a pivotal role in that. I was the administrator for ancillary. And I remember, our CEO, myself, the chief operating officer, when COVID came along, being at Elmhurst Hospital, which was the epicenter of COVID, we quickly learned how to pivot and make changes. I mean, you put on multiple hats. My respiratory hat did come very handy because a lot of these patients had respiratory illnesses, and we were able to work with them and make some of the changes that were necessary in terms of making sure that they had the proper equipment necessary, and also trying to properly ventilate these patients. We and I say we because it's not me. It really is the team of the institution. Elmhurst Hospital, I would say just about every single employee there worked countless hours, numerous jobs, just to make sure we take care of the community. Because we are truly a community hospital, and work to make sure that everybody that walked through that door was able to given the possibility of taking care of. So it wasn't unusual for us to be working 16, 18-hour days and making sure that we took care of the community, and also at the same time care for ourselves, because sometimes we tend to forget about caring for ourselves and our families. I mean, my biggest fear was making sure that I did not bring anything back to my family. So many of us sort of stayed away as best as we can, and try and take care of our patients here, and did some remote work with our families, remote chatting with our families. I was fortunate enough that I was able to. I live in a house that I was able to isolate myself very quickly, so I kept away from the family quite a bit at the early stage, and it was to the point where I did not have to bring anything to the family, because always your biggest concern is really just making sure you take care of your family. We may not care for ourselves as well, but our family plays a major role to it. Um, and it wasn't until about 2.5 years ago, when a one of the senior individuals that I'd worked with at Elmhurst reached out to me and says, "Hey, listen, Harlem Hospital is looking for a CEO, and I think you'd be a great CEO for it." And I said, "Really?" He says, "Yes, I really think you'd be a great CEO for it." I said, "Okay." I applied. mm, Multiple interviews later, the more interviews I had, the more I loved it. The more I enjoyed the institution, the more I learned about the institution. And I realized that, this is a special place, a place I really wanted to be a part of. I was given the opportunity to be the CEO for Harlem Hospital, which is probably the greatest honor I've ever had. And I will tell you, it's just been nonstop love, purely. I love the institution. I love the place. It is a community hospital. The community loves this hospital. As I say to people, I do rounding on the floors and I speak to patients and everything. And the one thing they will tell you, they tell you this is my hospital. Many of them will tell you, "Oh, I was born here. I was born here. This is the only place I come to." So to me, that just tells you the level of commitment that the patients have for this institution. And in return, I want to make sure we provide all of that to the institution. We have a lot of great staff that work here. I would say about a third of the staff that work here live in the community, grew up in the community. So they have a love for this institution. They have this kindness that they really want to make sure that this institution does well, and they want to treat the people, because keep in mind that majority of people we see here are people's um, mothers, fathers, sisters, daughters, their neighbors, and so forth. So a lot of it is truly based on just taking care of our community, and that's really what it comes down to. For the 2.5 years I've been here, the one thing I've said to everyone is, there's this wonderful Harlem hospitality. I use the term hospitality because that's how they made me feel when I first came into Harlem. 2 weeks into my tenure, unfortunately, we had a negative incident where the two officers from the 32nd precinct were murdered about a block away from me, the hospital itself. The officers were brought here, and I tell you, we had more officers in the hospital than we had patients and staff. But what I witnessed was that every single staff member just pitched in to take care of every single one of those officers that were there. It was such a great moment. It made me realize how lucky I was to actually be in this institution, how lucky I am to be here, and how hard these staff work to make sure that they take care of this institution. And I'll tell you, from that point on, I realized this is home for me. This is truly the place I want to be. And I've taken every single moment that I can to really provide the best care possible to this institution. So I've been here for about 2.5 years and enjoying every bit of it. I cannot complain at all.
Wow, wow, and wow. What a heartfelt journey. You are marching ahead with compassion, care, empathy for all. You are an example of a true leader.
Well,
Thank you.
I am a firm believer that you try to lead by example as best as you can, and compassion is key. You have to have compassion, and you have to have understanding of your staff, of your patients that come in. And I'm a firm believer that, hey, listen, I can't run this place by myself. I don't do any of the work. The staff does. So I'm always grateful to our staff, always thankful to them for all the hard work that they put in. I'll give you an example. Yesterday we had our ice cream social, we called it,
Nice.
which really is, just come down. We have a couple of ice cream trucks that was there, and come in and get a ice cream cone or ice cream cup, and just say hi to your fellow co-workers. And it was an opportunity for me to say thank you to the team. Many of them were thanking me, and as I said to them, no, it's not about thanking me, it's me thanking you. That's what it's about. It really is about all the hard work that you do, all the times that you put here to take care of this community. So it is us thanking you. So please enjoy it, have fun. Please make it something, a time that you can just take upon yourself. So yesterday was like a wonderful day. I met with all three tours. I was here till about 3 in the morning, which was really wonderful because I wanted to make sure I spent some time with the night staff, and just make sure they understand that we really appreciate all the hard work that you do, and the community thanks you for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And very well said, because they are the face of the hospital. They are the face of the hospital.
They are.
And being in healthcare is taking care of our patients, and patients come in because they are sick. So thank you, very well said. So it's like a charismatic, compassionate, and caring leadership you march on. So thank you for that. Thank you for your beautiful journey. How
Thank
do
you.
you balance humility with assertiveness in leadership, especially in a demanding healthcare environment of New York City? How do you deliver your assertive behavior?
Well, I'm a believer that you don't need to assert your power. you know, um,
Exactly. Exactly.
you know, I don't need to have to say to someone, "I'm the C." No, you know who I
Yes.
am. So
Exactly.
my conversation is always why, or what's going on, or explain to me how come this happened, so that I can understand it better. I'm a firm believer that I try to spend a lot of time meeting with staff, not when there's a crisis, but when things are going well. Because as I say to people, I want to say hi to you when things are going okay. I don't want you to think that the only time I come around is when there's something wrong. So my concept is I can always have it. You can talk to me all the time. There's no reason why you can't talk to me. If there's a problem, let's figure it out. Let's fix the problem. Okay. I'm not one to be, yelling and screaming. That's not my motto. I just don't feel that it works well. If you look at history, ruling by force never lasts for a long period of time. Okay. I'm a firm believer on working with our staff, making them understand and explaining to them the reason why we're doing these things. And I would say majority of them do understand it, and they will work with you. Are there going to be some people that's going to sort of be the naysayers and so forth? Yeah, there will always be, always be. But majority of the people will be the yay. Okay, this is what we need to do, and we're going to move forward. You know, use the 80-20 rule. 80% of them will be like, yeah, we're going to do the right thing. And you're going to have that 20%. And you would need to manage that 20% and work with them and make sure they understand it. And often what ends up happening is not so much me managing them, it's their own coworkers that manage them and tell them, no, you know, you need to change the way you do things.
Yeah, very well said. Being humble and caring at the same time, you know, being soft is truly important. And in a position, it is very well needed. Thank you for explaining that. In such a diverse and dynamic environment as New York City, how do you ensure inclusion, equity, and unity among your entire institution?
Yes. Inclusion has always been a thing for me. You know, being a minority, I always believe on, you know, let's make sure that we include everyone into our institution. We have a very diverse population here. Most of it was prior to my arrival, to be honest with you. Harlem has always been attracted a lot of diverse group there, and I enjoy it. I love it. I think the more diverse we are, the better we are, the better we understand different cultures, different beliefs, and things of that nature. I am one that's always inclusive, and I promote that in our team. And I believe all of our team, maybe not all, but most of our team do believe in that. And we do have a very good, diverse environment. Now, health and hospitals have always been a very good, diverse environment because of the not just the patient population that it serves, but also because of the people that truly want to be a part of this institution. They believe in the mission, and the mission is to provide the best care possible, regardless of your abilities, whether it's your sexual orientation, your financial abilities, whatever it is. We just want to care for you. That's what we do. And many people from diverse background truly believe in that, and they want to work in that environment.
Beautiful, beautiful. With that environment, we can we can truly, you know, capture all the patients and take care of them with any need. It's just so important to have that culture. Thank you for that. Thank you. Reflecting on recent unprecedented challenge, as we all know, like COVID-19 pandemic, how did your empathetic, like caring approach guide your decisions regarding patient care and staff well-being?
Well, I think we had a lot of great teams that really worked on this. And this was something that I don't think any of us predicted. You know, certainly something none of us well, I'll talk about my lifetime and most people's lifetime have ever seen anything like this. So it it brought us a lot closer together. We became the really team that we said we wanted to be, and we worked really to care for the patients that are there. Like I said, you know, I was at Elmhurst Hospital during that time, a community hospital similar to Harlem, and the community folks trusted Elmhurst Hospital. You know, many of you might have seen the long lines because we were in the media literally every day. See the long lines of people outside of the hospital and so forth. And what I tell to our team is they're not standing out there because they don't believe in us. They're standing out there because they believe that we are going to care for them. If they didn't believe we were going to care for them, they'd run to their heels to other institutions. But they stood in long lines and wanted us to really care for them. So we took that to heart. We truly took that to heart. From our CEO down to our housekeepers and everyone else that was there. It didn't matter who you were there to take care of patients. and we all changed hats. We all changed that. We did whatever needed to be done to really care for those patients, to really care for those families, because these are the folks that truly, truly were devoted to Elmhurst Hospital at that time. And I would tell you, um, it was just amazing. I mean, the amount of individuals that rallied around us also was just unbelievable. I mean, I received calls from literally all over the world that were calling us and saying, "Hey, we really appreciate all the hard work you do, and we want to thank you. How can we help you at times?" And it was just amazing. It truly was amazing. It's an experience that I never want to experience again in my life. I have to tell you, never. Um, but it did make us stronger, better together. And also, what I learned from that also is teamwork, and that allowed me to bring my leadership into that part of it. Is really sort of bringing the teamwork here also at Harlem Hospital, that it exists. It exists everywhere. What you have to do is cultivate it and make it more. And that's really the key thing that I've learned to make that happen.
Absolutely. That was the time we all learned being together, being strong is the way to go. That's the way we can all survive together. Absolutely. It did teach us a lot
Yes.
during COVID. Yes. And thank you for sharing your experience as well. What a proud moment for you that Harlem Hospital Center was chosen as the site for Mayor Eric Adams to announce New York's student loan forgiveness program
Mhm.
for behavior professionals under
Yes.
your leadership. Can you speak briefly about it? It's just amazing.
Yeah, it truly was. It was truly a proud moment for all of us here at Harlem Hospital that we were chosen as the site to announce about it. And a number of our behavioral health team was part of that, and have received some of the finance that goes along with it. As you know, in today's environment, more and more we're seeing more and more need for behavioral health. I think COVID has sort of exacerbated a lot of the behavioral health issues that many people have sort of kept in, but now, post COVID, you see everything has sort of come out. The institution takes pride in that. We have a huge behavioral health program here, as well as a residency program in behavioral health, many of which that residents that have come through here stay here, some of them, and they're part of our team as professors of behavioral health. And we also provide that to the community also. I remember when the officers were murdered, there were a lot of community members that felt, they needed some sort of counseling and understanding. And our behavioral health team went out to the community and provided that service to them, made sure that they were okay. So I am so proud of our behavioral health team here. It is just amazing. They do such great work here, and they work so hard on making sure we care for our community.
Absolutely. And it's very much needed, very much needed.
Yes.
Very well deserved 2024 HLNY. We all know about it. Health Care Leaders Award of Distinction. Would you be able to share a few insights about it that you
I
received this award?
thank you. That truly was a true honor. Um, Healthcare Leaders of New York is a great organization. Been a member of it for several years, and I've also been a member of National Association of Health Services Executive. The current president is a colleague. I can also call her a friend. We've worked together in National Association of Health Services Executive. I was the president of that organization many years ago, and she was also a president of the organization. And it's just the ability for us to be able to connect. Now, I've been working with health leaders of New York for several years now in terms of, dealing with some of the different issues that are there, meeting with some of their students. I wouldn't call them students, but some of their members, and just making sure that, we spread that mentoring around. So receiving that award truly was a great honor. Not just a great honor, but it was such a fantastic concept. And then my team here did a video. I mean, I participated in the video, but I did not know the second half of the video was other individuals that was, in a way honoring me and thanking me for the hard work that I've done. But a lot of it was really for me to thank them for the hard work that they've done. As I say to my staff, look, I don't do the work myself. I really don't. The team does. They're the one that's out there every day and take care of it and make things happen here in this institution. And I get the accolade for it. I get the rewards for it. So that type of reward is not for me. It really is for our institution. It really is for this wonderful hospital that works hard for the staff here that does things every single day. We just did a celebration with our finance team about a couple of hours ago, and I had the opportunity to spend a little time with them. And one of the things they said, they are the sort of the behind the scene folks, and they're right. They are the behind the scene folks. But what I've said to them is that no institution can survive without finance. No household can survive without finance. So to understand the role you play, the importance you play, yes, you may not be the one there doing the surgery or moving the patients from bed to bed and so forth, but you are the one that's providing the funds for us to be able to do all these things. So it truly was an honor just celebrating with them and thanking them for a wonderful fiscal year end.
You're quite humble, and that was very well deserved award. As you look towards the future of healthcare leadership, what advice would you give to our aspiring leaders on cultivating humility, compassion, and empathy?
Yeah, I would say the first advice I give to people is listen more, talk less. I love to listen. I love to listen to people explain to me what are some of the things. And often your staff, they're not looking for, sometimes people think, oh, they're looking for a raise. No, no. Most of the people that come to see me, they come with great ideas. Great ideas. Here's how we can make this better. I'm like, great, thank you. I appreciate it. Let's look to see how we can improve this. And I say this because it's important for us to really understand that our staff have fantastic ideas. We as leaders, yes, we can lead, but don't expect that, you should be the one to come up with all the ideas. No, no. Best ideas come from our staff because they're the ones who's doing it every single day. So I'm a firm believer on listening and seeing what they come up with. I ask my staff all the time, okay, how do we fix this? What do we need to do to fix this? And you'd be amazed how they respond, and they really work at making it better. Because if you try to force them to do something that they don't understand, and you're saying to them, okay, you have to do it this way, but we've been doing it that way for past 30 years. Now you want me to do it this way? Why am I doing it this way? Well, explain to them why you're doing it that way and how you improve on those, you know? And, it's one of the things I give my story all the time. And this is the BlackBerry story. And I don't know if you've ever heard it, but I'm sure, you know, the team here hears it all the time and they get mad at me anytime I give my BlackBerry story. I don't know if you've ever owned a BlackBerry. I used to own one, you know, the BlackBerry phone. I loved my BlackBerry phone. It was great. Had 80% of the market share on cellular phone. I thought it was the greatest thing that ever came across. You know, that little dial you can twist around, check your emails and everything. It was fantastic. BlackBerry was on top of the market. It was it worked fantastic. And people really loved their BlackBerry. And then came along this little thing called the iPhone. Yeah. iPhone 1, iPhone 2, iPhone 3. Every year it kept coming up with a little twitch. But BlackBerry said, no, I own the market. I don't need to change anything. But iPhone kept changing. And we're now up to what, iPhone 15? Exactly. And every year they come up with a new iPhone. Many of us go out there, we shell out somewhere between $800 to $1,500 to get this new iPhone. But the amazing thing about the iPhone is that every year it came up with something different. It kept innovating. It kept coming with something new. It changed things from, keying in your ID to thumb ID, right? Now it's Face ID, right? You get on iPhone, and yeah, it comes up. Every year they come up with something different. Camera, speakers. Think about it. In the past, maybe 20 years ago, everyone had a regular camera. Do you even own one nowadays? No. This is our camera now. This is where our camera are. We, no one. The problem is we need to continuously innovate. We have to keep looking at, yes, it's good, but how do we make it better? And I challenge my teams on that all the time. I say, okay, it's good. How do we get it better? And some of them was like, oh man, why did I even bother showing it to you? I said, no, there's nothing wrong with that. It's good. Let's just think about how we make it better. And we need to constantly challenge ourselves in that. That's how we improve. That's the problem with BlackBerry. BlackBerry didn't innovate. It didn't improve. And where's BlackBerry now? It's in the museum with the dinosaurs. That's where it is. And that's what happens. And I tell my staff the story. Of course, now they're sick and tired of me talking about it. But I say to them, we've got to constantly innovate. And that's the only way we're going to do better. Okay? Keep asking ourselves, yes, it's good, but how do we make it better? That's the key question.
Absolutely. Innovation is very important as we move forward and go along with it. To be in the market, and be competitive and be the best.
That's correct.
So that we can take care of our patients in an innovative manner. So
yes.
That's really important. Yes, absolutely. And thank you for your vision and mission, and thank you for your innovative ideas. Thank you for your compassion. Thank you for your leadership. And when we met first time, even virtually, I never really felt that I have met you for the first time. And our conversation was it was quite entertaining, with a lot of ideas. So I felt it's important that everybody hears it. That's why we are here at this podium right now as we conclude our podcast.
I have to say first and foremost, before you conclude, thank you. Thank you truly. Because like you said, on our first conversation, I just felt like, hey, this is someone I want to talk to all the time. And it truly came across. So I cannot thank you enough for really just asking me to do this. I truly enjoy it. I hope I'm able to share this with everyone else. And I hope your audience really appreciate it. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
And we feel the same way, and we have the same feeling. Um, our team at IASNM, Dr. Takoper, Dr. Gupta, we would all like to come over to the New York City, invite you for the chai. Chai is, we call it in India chai, but it's tea, which makes us think, makes us calm,
Yeah.
and yes, makes us humble. Depends on what tea it is. So, so basically, that's what chai is with scintillating stars. Scintillating obviously is a shining star, and that's the star you are today on our podcast. Again, I thank you.
All right, and we're
Thank you
being
for spending your time.
no, thank you. Truly appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Have a fantastic one, everyone.
You too. Thank you again, and we shall meet. Thank you.
All right. Take care.